Hi, this is how I did my Roxanne wolf cosplay. I didn't think I'd make a video of this. I think I started the keytar in April and finished at the start of May. I made the keytar out of cardboard, foam, masking tape and foam clay. I paper machéed it with normal printer paper and Mod Podge, painting many layers of it to file down the uneven bits. Then started painting it a white base coat and then started the actual painting and details. Once that was all done, I sprayed a top coat to protect it and then added shiny top coats to the silver parts. I started making the mask with the no eyes look. I made the outline and cut it out, added black plastic mesh and foam around the eyes so I can see and still paint on them. Then paper machéed the mask and added a paint base coat. Then painted it with black paint. I painted the design onto the mask, being careful with the eye mesh so I'll still be able to see. I added a top coat to protect the paint and to adjust the strings so I can put and take it off easier. Most of the stuff came for the costume, so I started on it. First, the shorts. I drew and cut out a pattern on paper first, checking if it works with the shorts. Then onto the black fabric. I pinned the pattern onto the shorts with the seam allowance under the main design. Sewed the design on with a ladder stitch. I took off the arms to the top to save for later, also adding darts around the breast area to fit better. Then doing the same process I did with the design on the shorts to the top. Onto the shoulder pads. I drew and cut a pattern after checking how it looked on myself with foam, and then doing the same for the card, sticking the two pieces together with tape after bending them. I glued the nails onto the gloves, using pens and plastic or latex gloves in the fabric gloves, and then the nails can be glued on. I use Yoo-hoo glue for this. I decided to add string onto the mask to serve as wires. I just tape them on. Using a sewing needle carefully, I made a hole in the ears where I wanted the piercings to go and use it like a piercing needle. I wear earrings like the black ones regularly, so I already had bigger ones I could use for them. The hoops I made out of bendable 3mm wire in the right colours, checking the sides and committing to it. Basically the same process as before, but bending the wire slightly beforehand. Once in, I added a gel top coat to the piercings to join them together, using a piece of cardboard so it doesn't get onto the fur. Then to turn it a bit into the ear, out of sight. The tail from Liquid Breed on Etsy came in. I only needed to change the elastic on it to be hidden, so I moved it down and added a ladder stitch to sew it to the tail, checking if it still fits on the belt. I don't film the process of the wig, but I use the steamer, hair dryer, on the cold setting, hairspray and a lot of hope. Be careful with the steamer and your fingers. I looked up tips on the internet to help me get the points of the fringe. I also steamed down the front bit to lay flat onto my head, more than it was. It's good enough for me and it works. Back onto the shoulder pads, cutting the saved arm fabric to the shape and sticking it on with Gorilla Tape, then cutting and sewing the bottom bits on. I did this with both and did the same process with the design on one of them as I did with the shorts and top. I made a pattern of my arm using tape and plastic. I drew onto the fabric and cut that out. Tip is to fold the fabric to cut out two of the same pattern. I added a 1-inch seam allowance as well. For the legs, I made a pattern with paper and did the same thing but added a bit more onto the bottom when drawing it onto the fabric. I pinned everything and started sewing the arm parts. The bracelets I got were a little too big for me, so I cut them down and glued them back together with Yoo-hoo glue and Gorilla Tape, leaving them to set for a few days to be sure. While that is setting, I started sewing the legs bits. I used my hair straighteners to flatten the edges. Using a ladder stitch, I sewed the side bits together. I also sewed up the top a bit to fit more securely. Back onto the top, I hid the edges and sewed them down off the armholes. Then I have to add in ties that I have to cut up to use as sleeves. I have tattoos, so this will help hide them a bit. Finally, for this day, I decided to resize the neck as it's a bit too big for what I wanted it to be. I cut it in the back, ready for the next part. Only on the neck part, not any other part down, back. I added snap buttons once I measured where I wanted them, then using a blanket stitch to hide the edges and to help when I fold the sides that need to be, and sew them together on that side with a bladder stitch. Using a liquid pen, I measured and marked where I want the shoulder pads to go, as I'm going to use snap buttons on these as well to make it easier to get the top on and off. I also decided to sew the shorts onto the tights I am using. The tights will help keep the shorts up and for later on when I add the leg parts. Dyeing fabric for the first time. I halved all the measurements as I'm not dyeing a lot of fabric. I didn't like the colour of the pattern fabric I bought, so I needed to dye it. I decided to do it after I sewed it all, so I'm not doing as much of it. I just followed the instructions and leave it to dry in between a towel. I was worried about this as I didn't know how well the fabric would take. After drying, it's finally time to add the leg parts to the tights so they don't move around when I do. Just a ladder stitch to attach them. I did this while wearing them so I could put them where I wanted them. I cut down the sleeves a bit so there wasn't much around the wrists. I started with putting in the contact lenses. I'll leave a link for them down below in the description. Wig cap time, and under one of the sleeves I covered my Bucky tattoo with a pale skin coloured tape so it couldn't be seen. With the makeup, I started with the base first and contouring. For the eyeshadow, I used 2 different shades of purple and a silver. Then onto what I found the most difficult, the eyeliner. I was inspired by a Roxy makeup look. Then I added the markings and nose. The markings with eyeliner and the nose with face paint and eyeshadow. I put on some eyelashes, then decided to do her eyebrows with a little stick up part that she has. I used the black eyeshadow. I didn't have the right shade of lipstick at the time, but the face paint was close enough. I just set it with eyeshadow. Makeup done, time to set it all with Cosplay drag tip we shouldn't do. Got to be glued hairspray. Onto the rest of the outfit with the shorts and attached tights, leg warmers and the corset. I added the same tape I covered my tattoo with to keep the sleeves down. Next is the choker, arm pads, tail and belt. The wig and ears and necks, it really pulls it all together. Last gloves, arm warmers, bracelets, and I almost forgot the fangs. I'm so happy with how she turned out. Look out for another look I did with her also, when they are posted in my short form videos. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe and turn on the notification bell. And stay safe out there.